going with the flow. What else can we do? All right, I'm just
Right.
putting us on YouTube. We had an amazing day yesterday. Yeah, it's just amazing, just magic. It's just pure magic. Let me see, are we on? Siobhan is also going to come today. She was writing me, she wants to sing us a song before the
going with the flow. What else can we do?
Which is great. So she'll be here in a few minutes. But I wanted to do a meditation with some mighty friends. You guys into that?
Yeah, I would love that.
That will be, oh, your screen's going crazy. That will be really helpful for me too. Let me see this. Okay. I think we're on. Let me just make sure I get the, what am I saying? Hi, Kristen Hope coming in. I get the right thing for the YouTube, right, Justin?
Well, it
Thanks for
looks
bearing
like
with us these first.
you went live on a different one than the one you had scheduled, which is fine. I'll just send a message to them in there because there's only 11 waiting there.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so when you
okay,
schedule,
well, it looks like there's
I can help you with
18
that later.
watching us on. Thank you, sweetie. Yeah. All right, I just want to make sure I have it like whatever I'm supposed to do for the kids so that there can be a live chat. It would be really cool if we could sort out all of this stuff before we brought the people in. All good.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, so basically when you schedule a live stream, you can't just automatically go live from Zoom. You have to actually enter in the specific information, like hit the custom live streaming option. So it's a little bit more to do, but it's very possible.
Got it. Okay. All right. Techie stuff aside. Hey, Nicole, did we have a great call on Friday or no?
Did we have a what on Friday?
Was that a good call?
I thought it was a good call. I loved it. I don't know what your responses were like afterwards. I didn't look at the comments or anything like that.
How did you feel after the call?
I felt good, like empowered and like supported with a good community around me. I felt like we have a small community, if that makes sense. I was like, wow, I found the 5 other people in the world. You know what I mean? It was like, it felt tiny but strong.
Yeah, I loved listening to y'all.
Yeah.
There was so
was
much
powerful.
good stuff, so much
really
good stuff said. Yeah, it was so good.
I did listen back
Thanks
to
for
it
that.
because
it kind of just came through. I felt so bad about Madonna and Alpha, my stupid WhatsApp. But we're going to do another one.
Okay, were they able to get on, but we weren't putting them on, or did they not show up, or what happened?
No, it was on my end. It was my, because they're not on Facebook, it's a whole thing. So they were on WhatsApp, and then my WhatsApp stopped working, and the phone that's got my WhatsApp was connected to a different internet, which wasn't working. And so we were in the call, and I had to delete WhatsApp and start anyway. It just didn't happen. But it was actually perfect because the two of them had other things going on and they were chatting away. And so I'll text you privately. I think we're going to do another one this week.
Cool.
To bring them on. So anyway, welcome to all of you beautiful souls that are here with us. We're certainly just so excited to have you here today. You know, these weeks are really just about us getting together and encouraging each other to stay the course and to get some kind of enlightenment. You know, not like we need it from the outside in, but to sometimes see others who are going through similar situations, kind of making breakthroughs and so forth, can be really encouraging for us to stay focused and stay the course. And so, yeah, that's what these are about. So let's start off with a meditation.
Marie, just
this
one quick.
This is a meditation.
Just one quick thing. If you want the live chat to work, you're going to have to enable and say that it's not for kids.
Oh, I did that, no?
Oh, well, the live chat's not working.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I did it. It wouldn't let me save before.
Great.
All right. 12:12. Let's see. Are we doing it? Do we have a chat going? Oh, friends. Yeah, there's fantastic. There's some. Is it working?
Not on my end. Do you see it?
Awesome. All right. So let's do this thing that we do. And I invite you to see my face. Sit up comfortably and to open your hands on your lap. You can close your eyes for this meditation. You just mute yourselves just to make sure we get a good connection. You know how internet is here in Mexico. So with your hands open and your heart open, closing your body's eyes and opening your inner eye, I want to spend some time together grounding our energy into our Divine Mother and also integrating cosmic energy from our Heavenly Father. So just taking a couple deep breaths here, letting your belly get big. On the inhale, you can exhale through your mouth with a sound. Just telling your body it's now time to relax, to rest. Inviting the busy mind to take a nap. So all of the activities from the morning, the afternoon, whatever time it is where you are, just setting all of that aside, entering more and more into the present moment, now. God's time. And if you're already floating and receiving your guidance, you can continue in that direction. If you would like more visual support, you can go ahead and imagine a grounding cord from your first center, first chakra, moving all the way down through the floor beneath you, through the earth, oil, water, rock, sand, down, down, down to the center, heart, crystalline center of our beautiful mother, and requesting rest here. We plug in. Receiving the yes, go ahead and allow your grounding cord to plug in. And turning that cord to on, automatic. Notice all the energy that is not serving you moving down, down, down to the center. For transmutation, reintegration. Any anxiety, any fear, any betrayal, confusion, just moving out of your physical body, out of your energy centers, out of your auric field, all the way out. And then just trusting that that's on automatic, go ahead and ask your Divine Mother for the perfect combination of earth energy that's just right for you today to move up now. Opening the soles of your feet like you would open a camera lens. Simply allowing that energy to move up through your feet, through your ankles, calves, knees, thighs, pelvis, and then down the grounding cord, creating a circuit. And take a couple more deep breaths here, just knowing it is occurring. You might feel the energy, you might not. Either way, it's just perfect. Stay with it. Beautiful. And if you're just joining us, just go ahead and close your eyes and pick up wherever we are. Asking that that earth energy also move into an automatic flow. Let's go together on a trip as far out as we can through all dimensions of space and time. Greeting the Creator, energy of the Creator, however that looks for you today. Offering gratitude and love for this perfect moment and requesting the right combination of cosmic energy, of fatherly love, to move with you all the way back down through space and time, just above your crown, and filling up your crown chakra with all of that energy until it feels very full with this golden light. And then opening up the two channels on the back of your head and gently letting that energy stream down the back of your head. And when it comes to your neck, it squares out into 4 channels, 2 along your spine, 2 along your wing bones. That cosmic energy, running that energy through your body. And as it reaches the base of your spine, it goes back into 2 channels and then down the grounding cord. You, your body, your physical, your aura, your centers, becoming that connection between father and the mother. And you sit as an open vessel, asking your divine parents to clear your energy, and to fill you with that which is pure and true and clean and honest. Just allow that energy to run on automatic. You feel this occurring or not, just trusting that your intention is enough. Beautiful. At the base of your spine in your first energy center, requesting now that 90% of the cosmic energy, the divine masculine energy, circle, and 10% of the earth, circle in that first center, combining and blending. And now allowing that energy, requesting that energy to move into your second center. You might have visions of the color orange or not. Either way, Just requesting that older information leave and new information remain. Moving now into the third center, color yellow. Also fleshing out this energy here. Any stagnation, leaving with ease and with grace, and being replaced with those higher vibes, clarity, innocence. And now watching this energy fill into your heart space. The color green, flashes of pink and gold. And filling in the front and the back plane here, your heart space, not only is in your physical, but in your auric field. So all the way out in front of you, even around 3 feet. Just removing any cords, any toxins, any density out, out, out now as that divine energy purifies your heart. Beautiful. Into your throat now, the front and the back, royal blue. Clearing out any unworthiness, any blame, any harsh words, and filling in the center of communication with unity consciousness, with high vibrational words, with truth. Allowing yourself to be upgraded in your ability to communicate and transmit divine information. Excellent. And now into your third eye center. Indigo. The place of all seeing. Reclaiming this area and trusting and knowing that the veils of illusions are being removed now. Waves of consciousness now, clearing, transmuting this energy. So you see with the eye that sees. Really nice, friends. And then this energy moving up now through the crown of your head. Actually visualizing your crown as a child of the divine creator and the Heavenly Mother. Crowned with wisdom, faith, strength. You can almost visualize this energy like a waterfall now, pouring out through the top of your head, all the way through your field. Take a moment to send some energy down both of your arms. That cosmic blend, cosmic and earth blend, up and down your arms and through your hands. You might actually feel some vibrations moving through the palms of your hands. And setting this process also on automatic. Really nice. Stay with it. Just a few more moments here. All right. And then the last piece here, imagine a huge golden sun, a beautiful golden sun right above you. And taking a moment now to call back any energy that you've expended in defending yourself, in proving your worthiness, just magnetizing all of that energy back into this golden sun. You can actually visualize a magnet in the center of this sun with your name on it. Calling back any energy spent in guilt or blame. Calling back the energy of truth, peace, joy, abundance, health. Good. And anything else that you're working on, just go ahead and magnetize your beautiful energy back into that golden sun, filling right on. And then visualizing your arms reaching up to that golden sun and pulling it forward to the top of your head and just tapping it really quick, and watch all of that golden light like a rain shower pour over you, all parts of your physical and energetic auric expressions, just feeling that quantum flow. Watering you, feeding you, nourishing you. Beautiful. And when you have a sense that that is complete and the energy has moved back into Mother Earth, you can begin to touch your fingers together and open your eyes. Whenever you're ready, and when you are ready to open your eyes, you'll just bend forward and let your head go down. Really fold forward so that any extra energy can just pour out. All right. Great. Way to go. How's everybody feel? Does anyone want to share anything before we move on? Nope.
I mean, when you asked us to visualize the golden sun touching our forehead,
How's everybody feel? Does anyone want to?
I felt that kiss, that kiss from the Father, which is really cool. Yeah, it was really beautiful.
I love that. That's beautiful. It feels so powerful, doesn't it, to have that like direct experience?
Mm-hmm.
It really sets off like a miraculous energy. When we use miraculous, that word is really important because miraculous is really about just shifting perception, just believing that that's even possible, that you could get a divine kiss. A lot of us have been told that, that that's not true. And there's all these layers of connection between us and our creator. And that's just not true, is it?
No.
It's just not. It's right there. Anybody else want to share something about that meditation?
Just Marie, so much of the letting go part, just so much of like letting it drain off of us. The part that's, I'm sorry that I look like I'm shadowy, but I thought the snow was prettier than, so I switched spots. So just the letting go, the draining away, I think is just so key. It's so important. And we forget to do that all the time, just letting ourselves purify and detoxify like that. Really, that part really resonated with me.
That's awesome. I feel that way too. I sometimes forget to do that. It's like we're taking on all this energy all day long. And, especially these days, it's just like there's so much stimulation. There's so much, it almost feels like there's hidden daggers everywhere, and sometimes if I'm not careful, I get a little pang or someone will say something and I'll be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And so that's the process of just like, okay, I'm going to sit down and ground out anything that's not my energy, because someone else's energy in our field will be somewhat toxic. Like that's theirs, this is ours. So it's like really calling back your light, your love, your joy, your peace.
And Maria, I just want to hop on to what you're saying there, just another little tailor on there. I think sometimes we forget that we don't have to carry it. Like we've kind of been made to think that the burden is normal. I was talking to a friend who is a nurse in my area, and she is so burdened right now. Like her story is so tuned into what's going on at the hospital where she's caring for people, and she can't put down the burden, because of the responsibility of a job. And I can just see how it's like, it's this huge heaviness on her whole life that's making everything seem heavy and dark and like that lower vibrational experience. And so I don't know how to explain to people, but like God does not want us carrying that burden. That is not what we are here to do. We're here to recognize it and transmute it maybe, but not to carry the burden itself. That's not our role.
Yeah. That's a big one. I mean, that's what I did for years. I mean, carry the weight of the world, and I think that's what a lot of, people that are really dialed in or feeling victimized right now, there's some kind of false power in that too, of like, well, I'm saving people and I'm helping these people. And absolutely, that's admirable. It's not that. It's just that how much of that is feeding your egoic consciousness. And so God's will for you is perfect happiness. So if there's an absence of perfect happiness, then there's where our opportunity exists.
Right.
But a lot of people don't believe that happiness is our natural right. That's a big shift.
It's been programmed out of us. I mean, yeah, we definitely don't grow up in that paradigm of believing that's the truth. And no, even if you were in the more religious sectors of life growing up, that still wasn't your message. That's what you and Justin were talking about with Charlie the other day too. The church system doesn't really raise us to believe in that aspect. It's more of like a power over thing with a lot of the messages that at least I got as a child. I grew up in an Orthodox church as well, Marie, like you were talking about your experience. My family was Russian Orthodox. So 99% of my church experience was like, don't know what they're saying, don't know what they're doing. Had no meaning to me, honestly. Lots of icons, lots of incense, and some Russian words, some English words. I didn't really understand it for 14 years of my life. But that the concept of just reminding people that, oh, look at that. Looks familiar.
I only keep, I feel you. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Suffering is the way to God.
Yes, very much, very much. And, as much as we are talking too about reaching our hand out to help others, there's also that, put your oxygen mask on first. If you're not well, then you're not serving another single being. Like you need to be well first, and then you can help the other people around you. If it's at the cost of your own well-being and you're not including yourself in the benefit of your energy, it's just going to deplete you in the end. And like you said, there's kind of like I think what saves people in that situation, helps them to keep going in that dynamic, is that like savior, martyr kind of thing, like having so much responsibility.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an important distinction to draw on between the martyrdom and the service orientation. Whereas martyrdom is fear-based. It's like I have to do this in order to be accepted or in order to get into heaven or whatever else. And so therefore I'm going to sacrifice myself no matter what to do that. And that's martyrdom, which is always, it can feel right in a moment, but it's always the wrong choice. Whereas service is that including myself in that worthiness aspect to it and saying I am
Right,
worthy to yeah, I am worthy to get that service as well. I'm included in that, which is important to remember.
And I think the thermometer that helps us gauge that is, does it feel good or does it feel depleting? Like, does it feel like you're being filled by it or does it feel like it's sucking you down? And that's probably, I think, the best thing for me, at least, to use when I'm evaluating my situation is, all right, is this making me feel like I'm contributing to everything, the whole situation, or is it like just for the benefit of one aspect at the cost of another? Or like how much energy is being exchanged and in what way?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to get Sioban in here. I think a lot of people are still unclear and still flipped around what feels good and what feels bad too.
And honestly, as people wake up and they start to see what's going on in the world, there's so many emotions that come up with that, the guilt, the shame of not knowing, what do I do about this? And we, I think, naturally just want to move into the solution for things too. We talked about that on Friday a bit, Marie, is like a sense of responsibility. Like, wow, because we are all one and we are all part of the same unified consciousness, there is a degree of feeling responsible for things. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a good way to lead people in understanding that, I think it's just self-care. First of all, like you have to go back to the self and having a really good practice of knowing thyself. And then from that point, it's a good jumping off point. Once you know thyself, know your boundaries, know what you're capable of holding, and what feels healthy for you, then you can move into your responsibility to others.
Yeah. Will you say that one more time? The part about people don't know. Say that one more time. Do you remember what you said?
I think I said, like as we start to become more aware and awaken to things, is this what you're talking about? Yes. That we sometimes, as we understand what has been going on and we start to see some of the truths around us that we were misled into believing a different story around, that there is this sense of responsibility because we are all one and we can feel, the suffering of other people, or we feel the responsibility of, gosh, I didn't know, so I chose to do a different thing, or I didn't choose to do anything because I didn't know anything about it. I was naive, or ignorant. So there is this, like, I think just by being a human being, we have a sense of responsibility to, just because we exist in a way, and because we are part of a community and a tribe. So then what I think I said next was that the first thing probably is know thyself, like know your own boundaries, know your own, like what is the thing that you are responsible for and how can you show up best for yourself? And then once you've kind of mastered know thyself, then you can move into, serving others, but like serve yourself first, make sure that you're well taken care of and balanced, grounded, centered, all that stuff, and then move into responsibility for others, for the bigger picture. Almost like little concentric circles is what I'm seeing, yourself, your family, your community, just kind of moving outward. But I think even those concentric circles, like once we start seeing the circles, especially right now, if you think about that big circle around us right now, which is like, the elites or whatever you want to call it, that are seemingly like the outermost, like big controlling thing, we probably want to jump to, what do I do about that? Like, what do I do about my country? What do I do about my political party? I don't know, whatever it might be, but bringing it back to me, like bringing it back to the smallest part of that circle, where it's like, know thyself, know what you're doing, and then just move it out gradually, little bits at a time.
Yeah. I see in my own experience, the more I take full responsibility for my experience, the more that's actually a service. Mm-hmm. I think that we forget that, and we've been trained in the opposite. And so I'm really glad that you brought this up today, because miracle mindedness is about, miracles occurring naturally as expressions of love. But a lot of times we think loving others more than we love ourselves is how we're serving. This was a huge rework for me, and it still shows up now and then, that loving myself, choosing what's right for me, for my family, being fully responsible for that aspect of my existence is of service. Because what is it really doing? Well, it's giving other people permission to do the same. Okay, that's like I prefer that one, but it's also showing people where they're resentful or where they're stuck. It's highlighting that for others. It's pulling, that's what we're doing for each other. We are assignments in each other's lives. So a lot of times we see what we don't want. So I've received, you know my story, but like, if someone's like, well, it's easy for you to move to Mexico and da, 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 and I'm like, well, no, not really. I mean, it's just like anybody else doing it. It's just what happened. Well, I had the faith and I knew that I was responsible for my experience. So if I was unhappy where I was, or if there was an aspect of myself that felt victimized, then that was my responsibility to sort out what I could do for that. Does that make sense? So being responsible for our lives is actually a gift to others, being responsible for our happiness and demonstrating that and being that way in the world, particularly right now, can be really daunting. Now it's so unpopular to be happy. Just like, no. We're suffering now. Now it's, the world's going to hell and the whole thing's down and all of it. And I so feel that at times, but I just wanted to say that the more that we love ourselves, and our energy is sacred, and the more that we treasure that, the more refined we get energetically too. So the more people we can take on, so to speak, or the more space we can hold. Does that make sense?
It does. It's building a foundation, and building a container to put everything into. Without that, it's just a mess.
Well, I think that we have to really grow up in many ways. Like we really have to say, all right, like this is on me. Like if I don't understand something, or if something's bugging me, what can I do about that? Because, the old paradigm and the old system was like, well, there's nothing you can do. And that's what I want to talk to too, is like, what are the ways we are still plugged into this system? I need to turn off my Facebook. What are the ways that we're still plugged in? What are the things that we still value in the older systems that are tugging us back into mediocrity? Well, it's not that bad. What kind of relationships are we still treasuring that don't necessarily meet our highest potential? Remember, all relationships are assignments. So they're basically showing us, okay, are you going to show up right now and not defend yourself, but choose love for you? And when you choose love for you, even if it looks like, well, they're going to say, well, you're selfish. How many of you have been called selfish on this spiritual path? That's such a pang one. I don't know why people love that one. You're so selfish. Look at you. Your parents are up there. And I remember this great story I'm going to share from my beautiful yoga teacher who's passed away. And I was about 25 and we were in Puerto Rico, and it was like a Tuesday. And we were laying on the beach, and it was just like this beautiful, one of those beautiful, perfect days. And I was trying to read the Yoga Sutras, sincerely. I was like, I'm going to read the Yoga Sutras. And I would open up this book and I'd be like, oh my God, like, I don't know. It's like way over my head. So I would read a paragraph and he could tell I was frustrated. I was like having a hard time. And so he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I just don't understand this book. Just don't get it. It's like too complicated for my mind. He was like, then don't read it right now. Just lay down, enjoy the moment. I was like, oh, right. And so I started to lay down. I started to try and like get myself to relax. And I started to think I was hungry. And I was like, oh, I'm really kind of thirsty too. And so these thoughts came. And then this woman that was hosting us came up to us and she's like, hey, are you guys hungry? And I was like, wow, I just thought that. I said, yeah. And she's like, should I get us some drinks and things? And we were like, yeah. She's like, all right. And then she disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. Like I was just thinking about that. And then I was like, oh, did you give her money? I was like, I should go with her. And then I started to go back into my insanity. Like, well, she's going to have to carry that all the way down. Like, I just started to go. And he just kind of looked at me and he was like, you want to know about the Yoga Sutras? I was like, yeah. He said, study the phenomenon of life. What just happened? Well, I was frustrated, and then I lay down, and then I wanted something to eat. And then what happened? And then so-and-so said, hey, do you want, so he goes, so like a miracle occurred? Like you thought of something and then it happened? It's like, yeah. It's like, then just focus on that. You know, the phenomenon of life is like the eternal moment, isn't it? And I've come to really understand this more and more, and I'm still learning it. That's what these groups are about too. It's like, when I let go of my having to know or having to control, and I initiate a miracle, which is an expression of love. I love myself. I see that I'm struggling. And instead of giving myself a hard time, I rest. I go, okay, what is it? What is it you would have me do right now? Have something to eat, lady. You're going a little nutty. Okay. And then the miracle occurred out of that expression for love. And that comes to me today because I think that was really the beginning of me realizing, like, I remember saying to him at the time, like, but my parents are still working. Like, it's Tuesday. I'm just like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just laying around on the beach. Like, I need to be, working. Anybody else have that one? You need to work. This has been a big one for me. I'm just now learning after 15 years, like, you really don't have to work. And I'm like, oh my God, this is intense. This is a big one for us. I mean, we've been trained to, you're a worker bee, you need to be contributing. And our culture celebrates that. Productivity is celebrated, isn't it? If you can figure out how to make money on this planet, you're celebrated. Those of us that have been struggling and trying to make ends meet while taking care of ourselves and using our gifts and talents and then trying to monetize them because we needed the money, all of these things, we're learning how to heal that. This is an amazing time for us to go deep and deeper into that aspect of it. But the guilt and the feeling that like I needed to do more than I was doing is a part of the lie. It's just about being in the presence of the.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I got that my whole life because I never really worked in the 9 to 5, and I did for 12 years, but it was 9 to 3. It was in a school, but I mean, I'm mostly a musician, so like I'd have people say, "What do you do all day, though? Like, what do you do?" You know what I mean? It's just really, really degrading, actually. But yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I see my mother doing it. I see so many people doing it all the time. They just cannot relax. And it's just that guilt the whole time, driving it in. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because I'm going to give it to you in a second, Justin. Guilt is an egoic construct. So just remember that anytime you're in guilt, that's the ego's having a party. The ego's like, sweet, I got her, or I got him. I'm not doing enough. People are judging me. I'm unworthy. The ego loves guilt. It feeds on guilt, yours or somebody else's. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's just as long as somebody's guilty, it's winning. And this is a big one. This is a big one we're learning, how to study the phenomenon of life. It's as if we believe that we are creating reality. That I'm not going to say we're not, but that we're responsible for all of it. I think in a lot of ways, like, yes, we on the highest level, okay, but we're literally learning how to respond. We're kind of going through this back and forth, and pulling back our power is a part of that, us responding in a loving way.
That's a modern. Sorry, that's a modern thing that I've heard, a phrase like, "Oh, you're just reacting. It's not a measured response," and it's true, because we're just reacting all the time because of all this conflict going on with everybody and sides and all the rest of it. But it's such a good lesson to just go, can I make a measured response right now? If you can't, just zip it.
Well, and can I learn how to respond? Can I learn how to value my peace above all things? So if I need to lay on the beach all day today, which is what I did yesterday, I literally passed out. I was drooling. It was not attractive. I'm pretty sure I was drooling. I was like, I woke up and I was like, and there was sand everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And you know, the world kept doing what it does. Like everything was fine. The kids were great. They had the boogie boards, we had other friends. Everybody was fine. But it was like that. I initially woke up with that, oh no, I need to be, you know, and so this is really, I think, a new way of us really stepping into our being and that being valuable. I'm a human being. I'm not a human doing machine. Remember that, Jillian? Larry used to love that one. I'm a human being, not a human doing machine. It's a big one. Notice when you're being a human doing machine, you're generally not going to be very happy about it. This is not natural. I'm not saying lay around, but be, you know, co-create, be productive, so forth. Absolutely. Sing, you know, Siobhan, sing. Do what you feel guided to do, but do it from a place of want and love. And this is my contribution, not like I have to do this right now. It's a big change for a lot of us. Justin, did you want to share something? I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, just on that specific note, just quickly, you know, it's again drawing on where am I drawing this energy from? Am I drawing it from to try and appease those around me? Am I drawing from external going inward? Am I trying to please those around or give off this perception or whatever else? And that's oftentimes why we do things, is for this stature and to please others. Or am I pulling from inward and inward to outward? You know, am I doing it because at my core, at my calling, and you know, that's where I'm drawing on that energy from. So again, just to distinguish between these two, the opposite forces, they're always available to us and we can pull from either one, but important to remember that. And then I also wanted to touch on, you mentioned our sort of born families and old friends that come in, you know, that we start this life with. And just the one thing that kind of helps me conceptualize it is these characters, because we're all kind of playing roles within this creation. We're all playing roles for each other. We're here to teach each other different things. And so oftentimes our born families and old friends and people who come into our lives at the initial stages, they act as the initial kind of gatekeepers, you know, those initial challengers that we have to get past to say, okay, or do you want to level up? Like, are you ready to move past these? But they're going to act like that. They're going to literally be like the Agent Smith popping out of the Matrix every time you try and break free from that initial ring that you're in. And they're going to say, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get back in there. Stay in that box. Stay in that bubble. And that's we ask for that. We're not a victim in that. We ask for that challenge. We ask to have that sort of initial, you know, box to break free of, because that makes the reward that much more rewarding when we do break free of that sort of system. So just kind of remembering that there's no such thing as victimhood. There's no such thing as that. It's all a challenge. It's all a lesson, something that we signed up for to break free of. And just remembering that too is kind of helpful for perspective and keeping in that. Victimhood is an illusion.
Yeah, there's a beautiful line in the Course that says, I think it's just that's the lesson. I am not a victim of the world I see. I am not a victim of the world I see. So it's like learning how to distinguish ourselves, to pull out of the matrix, right? So if someone's like, no, you have to come back, and you're like, no, I'm not a victim of that world I see, including your judgment, including your whatever it is that's coming. Like I had people coming to me saying, we've all had these messages like, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't talk like that. Like you're a yoga teacher. You're supposed to tell everybody only love is real. We don't want to hear about that from you. And it's like, that's what happens, is that pulling back. Like, I just want to stay safe in this little box that I've created for myself. And these times are so just dynamic. They're so dynamic. They're so stretching. We are just literally stretching. And it's incredible. And we've all talked about this and we've all seen it, that the more I stretched out of the old, even though I thought I was in an advanced type community, it was still a cult. It was still a little culture. It was like, we all talk like this. These are all things we do in this little cult, all that. But it's so interesting that the minute you step out of what you see as, wow, that was actually kind of cultish, people are like, you're in a cult. They're like, no, now you're in a cult. I wanted to say this because someone had written me and was like, no, you're in a cult. You have to be careful. And I was like, God, is this true? And that's what happened when I first went to San Francisco and started yoga. They were like, you're in a cult, but don't worry. My mother said, she's so beautiful. She's like, we have people. Like, we're going to help you, rework your mind. Because she said, you've been brainwashed. And I thought to myself, well, that's a great word. Here's that response again, Before I was really reactive and defensive and like, you're crazy. But no, she was right. I absolutely sit still every day and wash my brain out. I do that every day. I have to. I have so much shenanigans in here. And that's what we do for each other. When you move through your shenanigans, you're moving through it for the collective. Like, where is thought coming from? What is thought? It's like, as it passes through, you alchemize this. Like, not you yourself, but the spirit through you, the God self in you is clearing and cleansing for you and for everybody else. But it's in detaching from the thought, as identifying myself as the thought, I'm in a cult. That would require some kind of defense. But if it's just the thought passing through, then I take what's real and I leave the rest. What's real is the love. That's the real aspect of anything that we experience with anyone. That's at least how I've set things up. So I'm going to keep everything that's real, which is the love, all the joy, all the fun times, all the laughter, all the silliness, all the beach trips, all the skiing, all that stuff. And all of the other stuff, I'm just going to leave it where, leave it there. It's not mine. And that's Nicole too, to circle back around. Like, that's not my burden. That's something that someone else is still working through. And so we can simply model this experience to the best of our ability from a moment to moment, experience. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. And this brings us to this pleasing and tester business. When we're pleasing and we're trying to change ourselves to please others, it's because there's some aspect of ourselves that still feels unlovable as we are. And that's huge work, like to really love yourself when you stop pleasing. Because a lot of us get love by pleasing, right? It's fleeting love. It's not the real deep stuff. Because we can't really make anybody else happy. Did you realize that yet? I've been trying to make people happy my whole life. And I remember when my beautiful coach had said to me at one point, she was like, you can't do that. It's very egoic for you to believe you can make others happy. And I was like, what? 30 years I've been trying to make people happy. 30 years. And many people lifetimes of trying to make others happy. Because why? Because we just want love. But we've misplaced where we get love. We think we're going to get love from the outside, from our parents, from our teachers, from our siblings, from our boyfriends and girlfriends and whoever. And so be real careful these days. And I think most of you, if you're here in the circle, you're clear, like you get that, pleasing others to, save face or anything like that is just going to bring you more turmoil.
And I've also noticed that when somebody does something for you and they want you to adore them for doing it, that they're just not able, when you're just like, oh, thanks so much, but they want you to do more than that. You know what I mean? Oh my God, why did you? Oh my God, you're so amazing. Why did you? Drives me nuts. And I'm just going, I'm not giving it to them. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to just overshower you with ridiculous thanking you 50,000 times. It's just ridiculous. And you can see it in them. You feel the energy of just like, they're not impressed. They're just not impressed. It goes the other way around too.
So Marie, this morning, what I was working on, and like you were saying before, I wake up every morning and I'm like, what's the thing I'm going to do that's going to make me a valuable society, like member of society today? I think that we feel like we do need to do the human doing and not the human being sometimes, because that's what's been programmed, as part of our matrix here. what is it that you're going to do today that makes you worthy of even taking up space, worthy of breathing, worthy of eating, worthy of having the love that, like you guys were just talking about. So this morning I woke up and it wasn't out of that dynamic. It was out of an urge that I had for creativity. I realized it was February 1st today. So I started like kind of pondering just how it's the month of love and romance. Supposedly, like everyone says February is the month of love. And so I've had this course that I was thinking about launching a while ago and I didn't do it. And this morning I was like, oh my God, perfect timing. It's called the Elevated Mom. So it's about like being a mom and taking the responsibility back for caring for yourself each day and finding that sense of love for ourselves, and not in that conditional way, not just looking outside of ourselves all the time and taking care of everything else, being the human doing instead of the human being. And as I was writing the description for the course today, I was writing about how, I wrote a lot of stuff, but I mostly wrote about how like it is absolutely time, if you have not done this yet, to take the time to love yourself. And I know that sounds so weird and people are like, oh, like love yourself, what does that mean? And there's all those posts about whether that's a foot soak or a massage, but really getting back to the idea of unconditional love for ourselves. Like we're able to maybe look at our dog or our children and have that feeling of pretty much unconditional love for them. It's always conditioned a bit, but why are we able to look at other people and let them off the hook? And then when we look at our own selves, we can be so hard on ourselves, so judgy and so conditional in the way that we treat ourselves, or the way that we forgive ourselves, or the way that we are willing to grow or not grow in situations, who we choose in our relationships, all that stuff. Like just getting back to, and I feel like this is kind of the theme of our conversation, even when I was talking about the responsibility levels before and playing the martyr role that we talked about, the martyr or saint role. Just getting back to, like, at least for me this month, I think is going to be about getting back to unconditional love for myself. Because if I don't have it for myself, I can't expect it anywhere else. I have to establish that relationship inside of myself where I'm less judgy with myself at all times. And I think there's a delineation to be made about having standards for yourself, because you have no standards, you can, not move all day, every day, one after another after another. It could be a chain of events that could lead you down a more self-destructive path. But in general, just how can we kind of take this time to be less conditional in the way that we judge ourselves? And that goes back to what you always say, only love is real. Only love is real. If we can drop the other stories that you guys are talking about that have just been yapping at us for a long time. I'm not sure how much I want to say about this because it's kind of really personal, but my life has been in the last 15 years, being in a really conditional marriage, really toxic stuff, leaving that marriage. And in the past 3 years, it's been almost a daily thing for me to find the self-healing, the self-love, and try to get rid of as many of those stories and toxic belief systems that I could get rid of. And within these 3 years, there's been so much guilt that I didn't go out and get a job, like a 9-to-5 job. I didn't go back to what I was 18 years ago as a school teacher. And there's pressure on me from the court system, from my ex, from family members, from people that I just would sit and have lunch with. Why don't you just go back to teaching? Like, it's time, And I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't handle getting up in the morning, dealing with all of this stuff that I've been dealing with as I've left this one life and moved into a new phase of life, and have to go and work with 25 little kids and show up for them every day. It wouldn't happen. But the guilt that I had around that was totally, like Justin was saying, it was from the outside in. Like inside, I knew that I was getting up every day, doing my darn best to raise my 3 girls, to get them through the situation, take care of a home, figure out who I am again. Not to mention I was on this spiritual, like, awakening path that was hard as heck. So if I could go from the inside, like if I could go like way into the innermost parts of me and say, am I doing my best today? And am I serving my highest good today? The answer was always yes. I'm doing exactly what I need for myself today. And if I could stick with that little bit, then everything felt okay. There wasn't guilt, there wasn't shame, there wasn't pressure from the outside world. But as soon as I would take my view away from that, it was like, oh my God, and it would be an anxiety inducing. It would be a lot of self-deprecation. So that's why I think I'm talking about letting go of the judgment of ourselves and trying to get back to the unconditional love, because that's definitely the journey that I've been on, is trying to get down to that point where every day is like that. When I wake up in the morning, my mind I try to get it to not go to, all right, what am I going to do today that matters? Instead, it's going to be, what am I going to do today that feels like God? That feels like if God were here holding my hand, what would we do today? How would that feel to be in that space? And it's hard. It's really hard, but it's kind of where I think I'm at right now, which is why I think that course that I'm launching today felt good, because it was like, if I'm going to be doing this for myself, then I would love to have other people doing it with me and being mirrors for it. And that goes back to what you were saying before about letting the urge lead the way, and not the fear, not the lack, not that whole story, but letting the love and the excitement of things lead the way, and giving ourselves a break, like letting ourselves off the hook and laying on the beach for the day without reading a book or worrying about anybody else. Like just settle. And it's hard to settle, but I think that it's a really important thing for us to do. That was my little ramble.
Is so gorgeous. Nicole, thank you for sharing that. And I was getting some feedback, and I'm going to go to Sabina next. Loving yourself is based on who you identify as yourself. Like, who are you, right? So the Course of Miracles, if we just use that as a text for metaphysical universal principles, if we were to look at it, it says that the only problem that we have is our separation. That's the only problem we have. So it seems that we have many problems, but we have one, and that's our separation. So if we go and heal that, if we go to the cause so that we can heal the effect, which is the anxiety and the fear, and other people are telling me I should do this, but I know in my heart that that's not true for me, and that's not what my soul needs. If we heal our relationship to our Creator, and that is our number one relationship, that is our soul's function, that's what we wanted. We wanted to know God through this. So if we heal that, then anything that comes to us is not necessarily difficult, although we might perceive it as difficult, but it's different for sure. Because now you're rolling with a different rule book, if you will. You're not at the effect of the world of illusions that tells you need to work from 9 to 5, and the court system and the bullshit, excuse my language, that is imposing itself in on us. Like I told you guys the other day about the stupid trademarks. I didn't need that. I was coerced into that. And that was where I was weak. That was where I didn't have faith, where I didn't trust God to correct all of my problems. This is the meaning in the Course of Miracles. There's a whole section on faithfulness. And faith is literally giving all of your problems to God, because only God has the solution for all of your problems. Our issue is that we have been trained in two systems. We have the encoding for God's system within us, but since we've arrived, we've been imposed upon with another system. And so there's still some things that we preserve for our own self to figure out. Like, well, it's really, yeah, God will provide, but I have to have a job. Right? So it's like when you say, I wake up in the morning, it's like, okay, how would you have me serve today? And then you got the answer. And then you acted on that answer. Shows that you're being first connected to your Creator. That's who you identify as. Who is Nicole? A child of God. Period. Wearing a pretty crown with jewels. Mine has emeralds and rubies and diamonds. But you wear this crown of righteousness. You are you come from a royal lineage. You are created by the Creator of the universe, for Christ's sake. I mean, like, wow. But ever since we got here, it's like, you got to please this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and then it's just the whole thing. And then you end up like, in these crappy relationships, and we have all of this turmoil, this trauma. All of us have been traumatized in so many ways. But all of that is healed. All of that is corrected through faith and knowing that the only relationship that we need to sort out is our one with God. And the stronger that gets, wow, do miracles start to happen. Like, I give you one and then I'm going to pass it to Sabina. It's like, guys, the miracles. Like, I got on the phone yesterday with my brother, who we're fine, but we just don't really get on. We're two different people. And I love his children. He's got 3 beautiful daughters. And So the kids, my kids and their kids, they were all chatting on the FaceTime, and then the FaceTime was over and I felt a heaviness. I felt so sad that, you know, just everything, all the space in between us is filled with all this junk. And I felt really heavy from it, which is probably why I needed to do some emotional release stuff. And then I passed out on the beach and all of that. But when I woke up from my nap, I sat there, I went up and I had a coconut and I was sitting and I was watching what was happening in my life. And there's this beautiful family that we're friends with. And my son was playing with Daniel, my friend, not my husband, and Daniel is this like, just really joyful man from Colorado. And, you know, Adam was like jumping on him and playing with him, like really getting in it. I was just watching this and Spirit was like showing me, like, you have more brothers and sisters, friend. Just watch what is occurring. Watch the people now coming in your life. Then I thought of somebody else and I was like, oh, wow, if he really does come, I've got to sort out where I'm going to put him in the house. I went to pick up my phone and he wrote me at 4:44, hey, I'll be there on Saturday. So it's like, I just have to open, what I have to do is stay open to these miracles now, because the worthiness is set in the stars. Like, I don't have to worry about that. I am worthy. It's my unworthiness that I need to surrender. I need to give up the part of me that thinks that I've done something wrong because my brother doesn't know my children. Well, that brother knows my children really well. It's my attachment to form. It's my attachment to lineage. It's that stuff that gets in the way of those impositions of what life should look like. And the more that we step out of what life should look like, life then magnetizes itself through us. And then every day just becomes filled with miracles. And it comes to the place where I just am like, wow, I just need to keep staying open, because I will start deflecting miracles. And before I pass it, I'll say this. Even if you deflect a miracle, even if, Nicole, the guidance was for you to launch your course today, and there was a part of you that was like, I'm not ready, I can't do it. Don't worry, because the miracle, the gift is held in a trust. And it's your divine inheritance. So it's coming to you whenever you're ready for it. So we don't, yes, there is an acceleration process happening right now, but we don't necessarily have to push ourselves. That's not how I believe God works. I believe God is a gentle holding. It's us pushing back that we feel the resistance to. But the more that we learn and the more that we have faith, the more that we see, the more I give to God, the easier my life gets. Even though it seems like it gets harder, it's only harder for your ego because your ego's been managing things. He's a little bit like, you're messing everything up. And you're like, actually, brother, I'm starting to get things right. So just literally right. I'm casting mine into the right. So just take a rest. Just take a rest now. You're in charge of things when like it's body. Like I'm going to walk into a fire, you're there to protect my physical, but the emotional and spiritual and mental stuff, I really need a pause from you. Namaste. And what happens when you breathe and when you meditate is that ego gets lulled. Ego just kind of like gets all like kind of melty, and lays down. It doesn't like juice. It doesn't like raw foods. It's just like, oh no, shit, she's putting me to sleep again. So that's my riff for today. But yeah, remember, you have one problem. It's your separation from God. Miracles are held in a trust for you. So if you deflect something or you feel like you've messed something up, don't go into guilt. Just go, oh, okay, it'll circle back around. It'll circle back around. That's magnetism. That's God. God doesn't punish. I don't believe God punishes at all. It might feel like a punishment to not be in alignment to God. Absolutely, it does. And the closer we get to God, the more the punishing feelings are like, because we know better. Now that we know better, we have to do better, right? Like Colleen says, that's kind of annoying, but true. All right, Sabina, what do you have for us, beautiful? You unmute yourself, Angel. Are we there? There
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hello, Marie. Hello, everyone else. And I just want to quickly, you said something before that actually sparked something in me. You said something, you're washing your brain every day. And what actually came up for me, that really comes down to purification, like purification of the body through detoxing and eating food that comes from purest food from Mother Nature, and purification of the mind, which is about stillness, whether it's meditation or breathness, anchor yourself in the stillness or into Mother Nature. But the purification of our two vessels, which is the body and the mind, that purification actually leads to clarity. Can you still? And when you have clarity, that then allows you to have the choice whether the brainwashing is of a positive way that comes from love, or the brainwashing is come from fear. So we're actually in choice how what kind of brainwashing we really allow. But I like the idea that you mentioned, the brainwashing. I just want to add to it.
Thank you for adding that, because it is a clarification, and you can see the distinction. The Yoga Sutras, or not the sutras, well, it's in the sutras too, but the Patanjali's chant literally talks about, you as the jungle physician. You are the jungle physician. You hold the sword of discrimination between egoic consciousness and universal love. Like you get to decide. And the issue that we have as a collective is that we haven't done the work to get to that pristine moment where we can see. So we've fallen into victimhood. We've fallen into these things. We don't realize that we are a choice. We hold the sword. We get to decide. And that's beautiful. I mean, that's so powerful.
Yeah, and I also want to add that so many people are so toxic to the food they're eating and the thoughts they're thinking, or from a relationship. There's so much toxicity that they cannot access their core. So they're actually disconnected from who they are. And purification allows you to align to source. When you align to source, you can then see, you can see the truth in illusion. You can have clarity and really be in your power and act as a sovereign being. So I think purification is very essential. So I'm realizing, this is so connected. Yeah. Whole really getting pure in your body, in your mind, connected to spirit, connected to nature.
It's so important, and Sabina, like, I know that you're also in the yoga world to a certain, it's like, I just saw a friend post, something about how all of these yogis have gone into this whole, QAnon Trump, obsession. And then why all the wellness practitioners have gone here. And then like, is her Instagram feed. And then the next picture was like a piece of raw meat that she was about to put on the grill. And I was like, okay, so like, this is the problem. Like, this is the problem. Like, if you're still eating meat, like, okay, just know that that's got to be funneled out. Okay. Like that's got to go. Everything's got to go at some point. And I never went here as a yoga teacher. I always avoided this conversation, because when I did, and I was all about ahimsa and being nonviolent, I really went there deep. But it was like, then I found that there were so many vegans out there that were like attacking, and so then my ego was like, oh, well, let's just stay the center line here. Okay, you do what you need to do and let other people do what they need to do. But the deeper I go, the more what you're saying to me is so like, it's truth. It is when you clear, like the toxicity it's immense. I've been detoxifying for 3 years, and I have yet, like, you really inspired me on that water fast for 30 days. I was like, oh my God, I'm bracing myself. Maybe you can support me with that. But I know that I need to do down next level. Like, it doesn't end, And I think that I don't want to say this to guilt anybody, but I just want to say this to say, like, this is a process, and let's start step by step. Like, if you can give up eggs right now, give up eggs. If you can give up cheese right now, give up cheese. Start to clear out some of these densities so that you can literally have the faith to give everything that you have to God, because the clarity that comes from that is so valuable. You almost don't want to change it. I don't want to put toxins in. Does that make sense? Because then I lower my frequency. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Well, Marie, it goes back to Saucha, like that arm of Ashtanga yoga, just the purity, it goes back to that. And I just feel like so much of life is supposed to be the subtraction and not the addition. Like I was talking to my daughter, and she said, Mom, you're so good at like decorating and organizing. You should be a designer. And I was like, well, I don't have a background in that, honey. And then I was talking to somebody else, and like, why don't you just do like staging for people's homes? And I said, yeah, you know what I'm really good at is subtracting. I'm good at like taking all the crap out, literally like detoxifying and like take all the junk out and just leaving what's essential, like just leaving what looks nice or what feels
Beautiful.
good or what feels spacious. And isn't that what it's all about, is creating space, right? Like creating space in our mind, our heart, and what goes into that space. Once we've created the space, then that lets God in, or the connection to God in, you know? So it all goes back to detoxifying, like Sabina's saying, detoxifying, purifying. Interestingly, I pull cards in the morning, like tarot cards for myself for guidance. And this morning, the one I pulled, it was from my angel deck, and it was called Purification and Detoxification. I'm like dying to run upstairs right now and get it, because that's exactly what it was. And so that's been on my mind today. And I love that even Marie's meditation that you did. Do you remember my comment back to you when you asked for feedback? Was I loved the letting go, and like the letting go of everything. Let it drain away. It's not yours. It's not your responsibility to carry. So it's kind of such a beautiful conglomeration of what we're talking about today. Thank you for saying that, Sabina.
Beautiful, Sabina.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the letting go. Is letting go. And see, the thing is that God can't take from us what we're unwilling to give. So if we still treasure, you know, these like when I work with forgiveness with people and they have like issues with you know, abuse or divorce or relationships or whatever they're in, and they're holding a story, and I say, okay, well, are you willing to let that go? And it's like, can I? You know, like a lot of people are, well, can I do that? Like, because we become so hardened to these stories. We think that they're so true, our version of it. And then the ego loves to embellish. So it's like, maybe there was something that he said that was inappropriate, but then the ego takes that and then it layers it with all the times someone said that. And then it creates density, and emotions get stuck in our bodies. And so letting go every day is really a gift you give yourself. It's a privilege, because if you see yourself in the quantum, you're just energy. So you're just like, you're bringing it in, you're letting it out, you're bringing it in. It's like, what are those shapes, Justin? I'm sure you know. It's like the shape of the universe. It's a tetrahedron.
The torus, the
Yeah,
toroidal field.
Yeah, like, oh, isn't that funny? Look who's writing me. But you get, it's that energy. It's that purification. It's pulling it in and pulling it out, and it's trying to really notice when you get attached and when you get triggered, and just clearing and clearing and clearing. And I know all about density. I mean, really, I have series density still that I'm alchemizing. But the point is that it doesn't need to be difficult. And yes, it is about letting go, but when you create that space, like the reason in that grounding meditation that we ground out that energy is so you have space now for more light, golden frequencies, higher vibes, new information to make a home. But if you're not willing and you're still holding on to this anxiety or this event or whatever, then you're creating a stop in the flow in your own consciousness. And that's what we learn. The more that we let go, things start to flow. It's why I share with you my miracles. Even though they seem maybe small, they're ginormous. That each little miracle is showing me that the more I let go and let God, that cliched line, the more God's reality like exists within my life. Like I don't have to control it. Like the energy that holds stars in place then plans my day. Like, awesome. You know, like, I don't know what I have to do. Like, I don't know. I think I have this talk today. And I'm like, well, what am I going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. And then I read Justin today in the book of Matthew, like, when you get there, I'm totally paraphrasing, when he's talking to the disciples, it's like, you don't have to worry about what to say. I'm going to tell you when you get there. It's like, thank God, you know? Okay, so we prepare ourselves, right? We prepare ourselves through fasting and through reading and through study and through practice. But then when it's game on, it's game on. So whatever shows up for you in your day, it's perfect. It's an assignment for you. Is this love or is this fear? How will I respond? Am I cleared of this negative vibe, or is it still there that I need to see? So if I do act like a jerk, I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Obviously still have a little bit of stuff there. I'm still attached to. Spirit, can you please take this from me? I'm willing to see this differently. If you take anything from today's call, I am willing to see things differently, to see this differently is one of the most brilliant lines from A Course in Miracles. I am willing to see this differently. That's what got me involved in this entire situation, because I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is not true. And then I heard my inner teacher go, are you willing to see this differently? And I was like, well, okay, maybe. Jeez, seriously? Trump's a good guy? No, there's just no way. I've been hating him for 4 years, but the blessing of seeing it differently was like, oh, thank God. I can see this differently. The minute I was, wow, did I see a totally different thing. And that taught me how to have faith in my brothers who are one with me. That's another lesson from the Course. I can trust my brothers who are one with me. Which part of them do I trust? Their ego or their spirit? Spirit, right? I can trust his goodness. His ego is what I've been trained to look at. And it's been manipulated and been all that stuff. And let's just use him as an example. This is the same for all of us. Am I willing to think differently? Doesn't mean I need to be best friends with everybody. But if I'm willing to see things differently, then I will know how best to respond to the material that's presented. All right. Anybody else have anything to share? I'm going to invite Sioban to sing a song soon. I also want to read a book to you.
Just one thing to touch on. I mean, you brought up just kind of like being unwilling to see things differently, or living in that sort of false construct, and how that feels, and how it felt so much better when you came into it, when you stepped into the truth. And Charlie's talked about this before, but it's amazing that when we live in a lie, when we live in this false reality, it's actually breaking us down on a cellular level. Like it's truly destroying us from the inside. We're dying. When we live in a lie, when we live in that false world, we are dying. And that's why they work so hard to keep us into that state. That's why they've lied about everything, even the stuff that we think like, why would they lie about that? What does that even do? It's like every time that they can get us into a deeper and deeper lie, we're literally breaking down. We're literally just destroying ourselves from the inside out. And that's what they want. And so that breath of fresh air of stepping into the truth and saying, I'm willing to see things differently, because as soon as we're willing, God's going to lead us. As soon as we let our ego, stop letting our ego control us and steer us and keep us into that space, God's going to lead us to the truth. And that's going to lead us to that life and that breath of fresh air and that beautiful world. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
Beautiful. Yeah, it leads us to a better place. It really does. I saw a hand go up. Was that Danny? Hi, Danny. Did you want to say something? Thanks, Justin, for that. Wow, all of you guys are just so amazing. I'm so grateful for Mighty Friends. Wow.
Hi, guys. Hello, everybody. Hi, Justin. I just want to, first of all, I want to thank you, Marie, for putting this on.
Can you guys hear him?
Yeah, we can't hear you, Danny. You might want to turn off your camera.
Danny?
In all earnestness yesterday with, oh, shall we do it? And I thought, back to like use.
Danny, do you want to start again?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I was just saying that. Just want to first of all thank Marie for putting this on this Monday. It's like the start of the week, and there was some trepidation. Oh, shall we do it? And it's like we're getting into a regular pattern, and it's really beautiful. And the same with the participants and everybody who's sharing. And one of the big words that has come is letting go, and that's huge too. I last week I was dealing with my own mind trying to control events,
I think he's gone.
Hello.
Honey, it's a
Sorry,
really
guys. Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm sorry, guys. The
That's okay.
connection is not good.
We love you.
Love you, brother.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Cool. Anybody else want to share something?
Just going back to what Justin was saying about, you know, Charlie was saying about everyone lying all the time. And I mean, I think most of us can say we've felt that our whole lives, that really, and like even I feel like we got to the stage where we didn't, like there's things that come up for me now that I go, I know I had a thought about that, but I never delved deeper to go, well, why do you have this thought now? And why do you think that that's happening? You know, I just never went that little bit deeper. But we knew they were lying about everything. And yesterday we were talking, Justin, remember, and I was telling them that my brother had watched Saving Private Ryan, and he just emailed our WhatsApp family group and was like, oh my God, war is so utterly pointless. This is so terrible. Blah, blah. I said, yeah, and it really is. And you can blame the Illuminati for that too. And he was like, not every war was the Illuminati, you know. And I'm like, well, kind of, yeah, it was. And then I said, and he goes, well, what about the tribes out in the deep forests and blah, blah, blah. And I went, okay, well, maybe not them. And then Charlie goes, well, how do we know that they're actually having a war in the tribes of the Amazon? I'm like, oh my God, there it is again. Like, you know, it's just crazy. Maybe they're not, you know, maybe they're not. It's just, you know. Anyway, just thought I'd say that. They're just lying. It's just lying all the time. They're just lying. Did you want me to sing now?
Yeah, go ahead and sing.
Sorry, Justin, go on.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, that's the whole point of it all, is just to get us as far away from the truth, and God is the truth. And to get us as far away from God as possible. So the more that we can get away from that, then the more that they win, the more that they're able to keep us enslaved into this egoic construct.
I mean, that's their strategy. Just lie. Just keep lying. Lie on top of lies and lies and lies and lies and lies and more lies and more lies and more lies and more lies. That's the strategy. And all of our friends and family are just caught in it, you know? The web. Okay, I'll just get myself together here to do something.
It's funny. It's like I was having this flash of when I was little, and I was at my grandmother's, and I took a piece of candy. She used to hide these little candies. And I ate this little candy and I left the wrapper, and my mother was like, did you eat that candy? And I kind of looked at her like, you know, you have that moment of, am I going to tell the truth? And she said, if you tell a lie, you're going to have to tell another one and another one and another one and another one. And that stayed with me because it was like, I ate the candy, you know, but I just think some of us get that sooner. And you know, there's this like, well, I lied, but who cares? Like, and I have to defend. And that's why it's a lot about like coming through all of the layers and identifying with, who am I? I'm a child of the divine creator. Okay, well, then I have nothing to defend. I've done nothing wrong. If I have, forgive me. You know, it's like, it's stepping out of that web so deep. Because again, it is so, it's so intricate. It's like a spider web. And there's so many ways that we're still plugged into it. And it's really unplugging, like as much as we can every day. That's what it is. It's like getting more and more out of, you know, organized society. All of the rules, my goodness, all of the rules. So many rules. All right, Sioban.
Hey, so did you want me to do somebody asked me to do Amazing Grace earlier on. We could do that one, or I know Marie, you wanted the circle game again because it was such a bad connection the last time, so I don't know, it's your call.
Well, I would like the Joni song. Amazing Grace. I haven't Charlie said recently that's the song you play to female.
So I heard somebody say that recently. Who said that? Somebody said that recently.
What's her name saying that at the fake inauguration?
Who did?
I can't even say her name.
It was the country singer, or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, somebody said that Garth Brooks sang it, and why was that at a funeral?
Yeah, it was a horrible rendition of it.
Horrible, yeah.
Well,
which was Colleen asked me to play it at whatever one of the ones we did.
It was the night before. Yeah, you played it the night before, which I thought about that. I was like, wait, because it seemed like that was an unplanned song too. Because I remember listening on the news on Newsmax, and they thought he was going to sing a different song, and then he came on and sang Amazing Grace, and maybe they were giving a nod. Maybe they were giving a nod to you. I don't know, because it's all scripted. I mean, like that was all a fake show. Like it was all fake, all white hat,
Yeah.
a complete white hat
But I
operation.
don't
So,
really-
you never know.
I don't really subscribe to the notion that it's just for funerals.
I don't either.
But anyway,
Yeah, it's a
whatever.
beautiful
I can
song.
do the other one.
maybe you do both.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just do. I'm going to do the circle game for Marie. I put that mic further away because it's just too much when it's near. So hopefully you can still hear me. Yesterday, a child came out to wonder. You know what? It's too low. Sorry. I have to put on my capo. I hope. Oh my God. Sounds better? Yesterday, a child came out to wonder. Caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like, when you're older, must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town, and they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet too slow to circle down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, and now the boy is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams return. We can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
Beautiful, Sioban. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Wow,
I-
I love
Such
Yeah,
a
it's an-
beautiful song. It always
it's-
reminds me of my son, you know, because it's just that circle of life.
It's an amazing song, but just a reminder, we're not captive to it. We're not captive to it. We can break free whenever we want.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a great point, Justin. Yeah.
I love Joni Mitchell. You know, Joni's she was like, wow. I remember in my early 20s, I used to smoke cigarettes and, you know, I don't know if anybody else did crazy things like that. But I mean, I remember just like I used to sit there in college and just like smoke my cigarettes and journal and think about that voice of hers and all of the cryptic messaging in those songs, you know. There was one of my favorite lines was, I'm frightened by the devil, but I'm drawn to those ones that ain't afraid. That's what right now these days are like. I'm drawn to those ones that ain't afraid, you guys. Thanks for being here. Yeah, especially with all this Harry Potter watching these days. My family's on a Harry Potter kick. Wow.
Did you remember, Marie? Remember that absolutely, oh my God, stunning song, A Woman of Heart and Mind? Is that even the lyric from that song you're talking about? I am a woman of heart and mind, no, with time on her hand, no child to raise. Because remember, she gave up her daughter. Oh my God, that song just blows the flipping socks off me. But anyway, just had to throw it in there.
You guys want me to read you a story?
Yeah.
I like to read you stories. This is one of my favorites. You know this one? The Places You Go by Dr. Seuss. Can you see it okay, you guys? I'm going to read it like preschool style. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look over them with care. About some you'll say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good streets. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen and frequently do to people as brainsy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You'll get all hung up in a prickly perch and your gang will fly on and you'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. That's good. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked, some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you can sprain both your elbow and chin. How dare you stay out? How dare you go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite? or go around back and sneak in from behind. Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long-winded roads at a breathtaking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, to the most useless place, the waiting place. Right? Oh yeah, friends, the waiting place. Check this out. Hold on. Let me get this so that you guys can see the whole screen. Look. For people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape. All that waiting and staying, you'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Ready, because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go, there is fun to be done, there are points to be scored, there are games to be won, and the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame, you'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, games you can't win, because you'll play against you. All alone, whether you like it or not, alone will be something, you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go through the heckin' crown's howl. Upward and onward a frightening creak, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with some strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with great care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So be your name, Buxom or Bixie or Bray or Mordecai Ali Van Ali O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way.
I never heard that one before. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. The whole self-sabotage journey. Wow.
Yeah, I always wondered about Dr. Seuss and if he was encoding things too, because I just think
sure.
of the one fish, two fish, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, red shift, blue shift. I wonder if he's saying something there. And fish is all about wisdom, so could be saying something.
I mean, I don't know anything, but that would seem from those books, it just really seems completely that he was,
What about the Lorax? Have you guys seen the
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen the movie, but I've read the book for kids.
fun? And you know what? Another movie is really good that we love in our family. It's called The Greatest Show. You guys know this film? It's really good. The music's fantastic. Jackman. I really feel like there's a beautiful song called "Come Alive." And for inspiration, for fun, I just find that film to be really beautiful. And there's some real good juice in there, considering what's happening right now. I just want to read that book. I love this one. I love how it's like, you know, we get mixed up, of course. Don't worry, you'll see soon. It was when I went to my teacher training in San Francisco. That was the book that my first teacher read on the first day. I was like, I'm home.
Great stuff.
All right, friends. Anything else to finish up before Siobhan? Sorry, I keep wanting to call you Shiv because
That's fine.
okay.
My
The
dad
other
calls me Shivers.
I'm gonna call you Shiv because that's the other Siobhan. That's her nickname is Shiv.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Did you want me to do another one?
Well, if you want, are you gonna do it now?
I don't mind. I can do anything. I feel like I'm not going to do Amazing Grace now. I don't know why, but I'm not.
Thank you all for being here. You guys are amazing. I love you.
Love you
I'll do
too.
this one. Thanks, Marie. Oh, and my first show is at 4 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time, with Sinead. We're interviewing Angelica Gagne about her stunning book that she wrote called Love is Light, Transmute Fear into Light. And it's like a fairy tale thing for kids. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful. That's at 4 o'clock on my Wisnosis channel, our Wisnosis channel. So yeah, hopefully that'll go well. Anyway, this is a song from my record, You Can't Run Out of Love. I'm mirrored here, I'm going the wrong way around. It's called Hold Me in Your Arms. Take me to the parade, wine me and dine me. We can go waltzing all night long. Take me way back when we were wild and free. I long for those days again. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. I wanna get dressed up, I want you to take me out. I wanna put my best dress on. I wanna have some fun, I wanna laugh, dance and sing. I wanna put my best boots on. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. We see our children's children pave their way through the mire. We give them the tools, they shine like a beacon. The future is bright. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. I will be yours forevermore. That's my wish.
We have an amazing river here. Speaking of the river.
Thank you. I think sometimes it's I reverb. Is that what you said?
Oh, I just can't wait to see the river, a beautiful river, and I can't wait to show you guys this place.
Oh, I'm looking at the Shenandoah River out here, and it is full. It's we've 2 inches of snow now. Yeah. So
Blessing.
thanks so much, Danny. And Danny, I mean Marie.
Oh, good. We are one.
We are one.
Those of you
Okay.
guys,
Thanks a million, guys.
please enjoy it. Enjoy it, enjoy it. And, yeah, the places you go, maybe one day you will come down here. We have, remember Remembrancer? Remember that guy? He's coming down here on
Who?
Saturday. Remembrancer, we were in that show with Santos that first time I came out public. This guy called Remembrancer and this other one, hilarious. But raw foods, musician, is gonna come down here and teach us all those
Oh.
important.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's
Kevin,
starting.
come on here.
Another family, Stephanie's family coming down for and others. So
The caravan is growing, isn't it, Justin?
places you go, make your way anytime.
Convoy.
Happy to have you. And thank you, Siobhan, for those songs. I'm going to put Siobhan's info in our show notes and Justin's too. Lots of cool stuff happening, friends. We have a Bible study happening on Friday for the next 2 Fridays. Then I think we're going to Wednesday. So check that out. We're starting with the book of Matthew. And I know that Justin and I have access to a PDF. So I just printed mine out last week. It'll be huge, but write in it and all of that. And it's super fun. Return to that information, Justin, if you want to say anything about that.
Yeah, just on that. So just for anyone who's going to be there, we are doing the book of Matthew, but we probably won't get through the whole thing. Basically, what we're going to do is just start at the beginning of Matthew, go over any key phrases and questions that anyone has, and just go move at it at our own pace, cover as much as we can. So it's great to read the whole book of Matthew, but definitely start at the beginning, and that'll give you the best preparation for that.
Yeah, I think I read like 3 or 4 paragraphs, like 3 or 4 sections, and had like 5 questions. So it's like there's a lot of stuff in there, but it's going to be fun. We're going to go at our own pace and just kind of revisit that information. It's really powerful, really beautiful. Anything else I want to say in terms of announcements? I think that's it. Keep it real, and yeah, we love you. Let's just do a moment and take 3 deep breaths together, shall we? Those of us who are here. And you can just bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart space. Close your eyes. And let's breathe for 4, 4, 8. So you're going to breathe in through your nose and count to 4. Let your belly get big. Hold your breath for 4 counts. And then open your mouth and exhale. All the way. See if you can count to 8. And then 2 more. Breathe in. Hold. Feel your heart beating. Open, exhale. Audibly out. 1 more. Hold. And exhale. With love and with gratitude. Beautiful week. Namaste. I love you all. Thank you for being here. See you soon.